Yeah, when I thought the song was over, I jumped to my feet, and then when you started singing more, I was going, yes, more. And it was just special. I knew you'd know this song, and I knew you'd sing it well. This was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s favorite song. This is a song he requested to have sung that night that he was to speak. He was there with the Union organization in Memphis to help them, rally them. This is what the song that he asked us to sing that night, and it never got sung to him, but I knew he loved it, and I knew that in those years, Elvis Presley loved that song too, so he loved gospel and just loved that song. And so today we really want to celebrate the life of this man, this great man. I've been intrigued by him for years, been motivated by him for years. I grew up as a young man under kind of his umbrella and watched him. And I'm always just so amazed on who he was and how he was able to do all these things at such an early age. Even in Atlanta, Booker T. Washington High School, he was moved out of high school at the age of 15 to Morehead College and graduated from Morehead College with his ordination and his BA at 19 years old. I mean, how do you do that? And was recognized. This was an interesting fact that I didn't know until recently. And I checked it in a couple different places and found out it was true. And you might not know this, that at his birth, his name was Michael. He was given the name of Michael at his birth. And it didn't take long for his dad to recognize him as on this planet for a specific mission. He knew he was going to be a reformer, but he didn't know exactly how. So it made sense that he took the name of the German reformer, of course, Martin Luther, and changed his name to Martin Luther, already recognizing that something was going to happen at this early age. And so many things. I mean, it's amazing, all the things that were going on and all the changes that were trying to take place and all the violence and all the things that were going on, and yet he knew at some level this was his to do. And I'm sure that he was trying to figure out how to do it. And in 1959, he was invited by Prime Minister of India, Nehru. You remember the jackets we used to wear back then? Yeah. I remember them too. He was invited to come to India, and he was there from February 2nd till the 10th of March of 1959, and he was studying the techniques and the philosophy and what Mahatma Gandhi was all about, how he was able to do this in a non-violent way, which set the whole tone for how they were able to accomplish, because everybody else was into, that wanted it to not be, were into violence. And you never solve the problem at the level in which it was created. Let that ring for a while. And so he wanted to know how he could move forward, because he knew that war was not going to be in battling and the energy in which the problem was created. And he knew that any lie that was not of truth would one day come to an end. So let's be committed to this thing. And so he studied all that, Mahatma Gandhi. And then in my research of him, and also having a conversation with Sarah Bird, who's one of our new employees at the church, who has a degree in theology. And so I ran across, and I've heard of this guy. I actually read one of his books, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, who was born in 1907 in Poland, but is really an American rabbi, American Jewish teacher, philosopher. And as you study, he was in Martin Luther King's, Dr. Martin Luther King's path. He was there to present him this a Jewish and World Peace Award. There's a picture of him standing in Selma next to Dr. King. And so I'm thinking, how did this guy's born in 1907? Dr. King was born in 1929. There was a difference in age. He was in his 60s at the time. He was, of course, just a kid. But he was like, he had this, Mahatma Gandhi in over here, and he had this rabbi over here, but over here he had the Bible. He had the Bible right here. He knew he was going to be a minister. He delivered his first sermon at the age of 17 in his father's church. And so he knew he was going to be a minister, and he was, of course, ordained at 19. But everything, just happened so quick because he was open. And everybody saw him, and he knew something was happening, and he said yes. And if you know anything about his life, it happened quickly. And he was able to transform and to be a catalyst for change. And this rabbi who influenced him, and some of his books are incredible too. They're basically the author, that man is not alone, God in search of man, the Sabbath, the prophets. And what his thrust was, his real thrust was that no one organization, especially a religious organization, has a monopoly on truth. No one organization has a monopoly on truth. And so when you think about Dr. King, he's got Jesus over here. You know, he's a Baptist minister, and he's got a Jewish rabbi over here, and he's got Mahatma Gandhi teaching, lessons around him. And then he was able to go to the mountain. You see how it works? Then he was able to go to the mountain. So my thinking is that in the mountains is an interesting analogy, because we also talk about moving mountains. And I think in order to move a mountain, you got to get to the mountain. Just be with that for a minute. We try to move mountains, but we haven't been to the mountain yet. So you got to. I've been to the mountain. I think in 1963, that was his I Have a Dream talk. And just before he passed, he gave that lesson. And so we had this vision and this incredible opportunity that was given to us. And so I was a little out of order today. I probably should have sat down there for a minute, because we had a great clip I want to show you, We Shall Overcome clip that should have been done just a moment ago. But I think it's probably not too late. If I get a nod from Robert, maybe we can throw it up on the screen. As you see, there you go.
We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. Though I join hands so often with students and others behind jail bars singing it, we shall overcome. Sometimes we've had tears in our eyes when we joined together to sing it, but we still decided to sing it. We shall overcome. No, before this victory is won, some will have to get thrown in jail some more, but we shall overcome. Don't worry about us. Before the victory is won, some of us will lose jobs, but we shall overcome. Before the victory is won, even some will have to face physical death. But if physical death is the price that some must pay to free their children from a permanent psychological death, then nothing shall be more redemptive. We shall overcome. Before the victory is won, some will be misunderstood and called bad names and dismissed as rabble-rousers and agitators, but we shall overcome. And I'll tell you why. We shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. We shall overcome because Carlyle is right. No lie can live forever. We shall overcome because William Cullen Bryant is right. Truth crushed to earth will rise again. We shall overcome because James Russell Lowell is right. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadow, keeping watch above his own. We shall overcome because the Bible is right. You shall reap what you sow. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. And with this faith, we will go out and adjourn the councils of despair and bring new light into the dark chambers of pessimism. And we will be able to rise from the fatigue of despair to the buoyancy of hope. And this will be a great America. We will be the participants in making it so. And so as I leave you this evening, I say, walk together, children. Don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the common.
Nobel Peace Prize winner. I mean, it goes on and on and on, and I don't know if you can remember where you were on April 4th,